So this vest I picked up on eBay for 12 bucks shipped. Pretty cheap. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be showing you how I dye military surplus gear and how I turn that ugly gray foliage color, that ACU camo that is so readily available today, and turn it into a decent OD green. And then I'm also going to show you how to set up an FLC vest, which is one of the cheapest options for chest rigs that you have out there. And I'm going to show you some pouch options that I like, and we're going to set this thing up and walk you through it. Now, if you follow this channel and if you're familiar with it and you subscribe to me, you probably have noticed that I've not been doing as many videos as I would like, and I have not been outside doing stuff. I've been doing a lot of videos from indoors, and there's a reason behind that. I'm having some health issues that I'm trying to get addressed right now. It's nothing life-threatening, but it's definitely impacting my mobility, and that's all I'm going to say about it. It's really not that big of a deal. It's just it doesn't allow me to get out in the field, out in the woods, and carry packs and gear and all that stuff, and I haven't been able to get out camping yet. So once I get this addressed and I get things fixed up the way I want them to, hopefully my mobility will get back to normal, and I can get outside and start shooting more video for you guys, because it's starting to warm up. Spring is right around the corner, and I got to get ready and get outside. But until that happens, let me walk you through how to dye military surplus. So this vest I picked up on eBay for 12 bucks shipped. Pretty cheap. As you can tell, it is very well worn. It's been used quite a bit. It's got the soldier's name written on it, but it's still very serviceable. It just needs to have a good dye job done to it to make it usable, because I've got some really nice OD green pouches that I want to attach to this, and I don't want this horrible digital camo or gray material. But I will say that these used vests that are really worn, I think they do better taking the dye, because the coating that are on the new pieces of material will actually repel the dye, but once these things have been really well worn and used, they soak up the dye better. And then what I do is, before I dye it, I always wash these in hot water. That helps the dye get into the material better as well. As you can see, actually the webbing is faded. So this should be a great candidate for a dye job. Now here's some other components that came with it. It came with 2 mag shingles. They're pretty worn too, but a little bit better condition. I washed those as well. Got some threads I need to trim. This is the belt that goes inside the vest. Pretty dirty and worn, but I washed this one as well. And then what I use for dye, I like RIT dark brown liquid. And then this is the RIT apple green. Apple green, I have found, is the best green dye for military surplus. These two together should give me a pretty decent OD green base. So let's see how it goes. So stainless steel sink in the kitchen. This is what I use to do my dyeing in. Stainless steel works really well because it doesn't stain, obviously. And then what I do is I put in some really hot water. So what I like to do is I like to get some really good hot water. I'm actually going to bring this pot to a boil, and I'm going to pour that in the sink along with super hot sink water, because I really want to get the temperature up as high as possible. Because I think the hotter the water, the better the material will accept the dye. You're going to need some distilled white vinegar. And then some salt. That also helps. Now the mixture, I don't really do any kind of measurement on this. This is all a guessing game for me. I don't know, maybe I'm just lazy, but I will use the entire bottle of apple green, and then I'll probably use maybe a quarter to a half of the bottle of the dark brown to get that OD green mix. I don't know how much water I'm going to soak this thing in, because you want enough water to cover the material, and you may even have to weigh down the objects that you're trying to dye, or the items you're trying to dye. So I just gauge how much water I need by, you know, how many items I'm dyeing at once. And I try not to do too many at once, because that can cause problems as well. I want to make sure that dye gets in everything. Okay, here's the dark brown. Kind of doing it by feel. I don't want it too brown, I want it more green, but I want the brown to darken that green a little bit and give it more of an earth tone and make it not so bright. In goes the boiling water. Make sure I have enough water covering this. Some of this stuff might try to float, especially that belt, because there's a little bit of a foam padding to it. Can also weight everything down. Sometimes I'll take a large rock or a brick or something else like a barbell or dumbbell. You can weigh this and push everything down to the bottom so it soaks. And I'm going to let this soak for probably a couple hours until that water starts cooling off. Add a little bit more. All right, there it is, all finished up. I pulled it out of the dye and patted it down with a towel just to get the excess moisture out, and then threw it in the dryer with an old towel. And it's still just a little bit damp in some of the padded areas, but for the most part, it's all the webbing and everything is dry. And I think it turned out really, really well. I'm satisfied with it. You can see that there are some spots where the dye is lighter, and that's the only unpredictable thing about dyeing this old military surplus. You just never know what exactly you're going to get. It's always kind of a gamble, but I've had great success with the apple green from Rit dye with a little bit of brown mixed in. Always turns out to be a pretty decent color. And now we're going to see how this matches with my OD green pouches that I already have. All right, so there's the vest. That's the OD green that I came up with using my dye process. And the pouch we're going to look at today, this is from Condor. This is their double mag pouch. So you've got the ability to carry 4 mags. This does fit P mags as well as traditional aluminum mags. So how'd we do with the green? Not bad. Looks pretty decent. And then I have this pouch. This is from Blackhawk. This is a Blackhawk Strike utility pouch. Got this off of eBay, brand new. It is their OD green. Let's see how it looks on the vest. Not too bad. So these Condor pouches can be a pretty good value. I think, at one time Condor probably wasn't really considered great gear. It's pretty much considered just airsoft crap. But I think they've really stepped up their game recently. Them all over the place. I get a lot of my stuff from eBay, from dealers on eBay, and it's always been pretty decent quality. Stitching looks good. They tend to hold up pretty well. Haven't really had too many issues with their pouches. And if you're looking for something very specific, the Condor stuff can be a great option, because finding military surplus pouches that fit your needs sometimes is not easy. But they seem to have a really large variety of pouches, and they work great. And then the Blackhawk stuff, of course, I think has always been good quality. I've never had any issues with any of the Blackhawk items. So let's put them on the vest and see how this thing looks. So here is the pouches mounted up. Got the Condor, got the Blackhawk, got a Condor radio pouch right here. Got enough room on this side. I can probably throw in a tourniquet pouch or multi-tool pouch. But I think the color looks pretty good. And what's so nice about the FLC is that you don't have to have it all zipped up. So if you're a bigger guy like me, I have it set on a more wider profile. So now it's acting more as a split chest rig. So it's very comfortable. I get air circulation, but I can still access the magazine pouches how I want to. So a $12 vest and then a handful of pouches, however you want to set it up. I mean, you can definitely get a decent chest rig built probably for under $75. All right, so that's all I wanted to show you today, is just how to dye this old military surplus and how you can utilize it for your setup. So if you're looking to build an inexpensive chest rig, either for your prepping, and you want to have something that's inexpensive and maybe just want to try it out, because honestly, who wants to spend tons of money on all this gear and then realize this isn't for me? I don't like the setup. I don't like carrying all this stuff. Then you don't have a lot of money invested in it. And then also these FLC vests, it doesn't have to be a tactical application. You don't have to carry rifle mags. You can turn this easily into more of a survival vest or a bushcraft type vest. So, adding canteens, paracord, first aid kit, fire starting kit, all that kind of stuff that you would normally carry could go on a vest, and then you can carry a smaller backpack that's just going to be for hydration and maybe some food. So a lot of different options. Not have to always spend tons of money to get into something. Sometimes it's best to start off a little cheaper and see how you like it. And I like playing with old gear. I like experimenting with things. I like setting stuff up. I love modifying things to meet my needs. And the ACU digital camo military surplus gear is very available, very cheap, eBay is one of the best places to find it, actually. You can find all kinds of stuff, pouches and backpacks and vests. And then with a couple bottles of dye and a little bit of time, you can make a really decent looking piece of gear that you can go out in the woods and be pretty effective, I think, with the color. So hopefully I'll get out in the woods real soon and show you how this thing works and how I got it loaded up. In the meantime, please check out my older videos. Do me a favor, if you like this kind of content, give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I would really appreciate that. Check out all the affiliate links down below, including my Facebook group. Huge, lots of people on there, a lot of great information. And as always, thank you so much for watching my channel, and we'll see you next time on The Prepared Wanderer.